light flickering. It's not flickering. If I get up, it will look awkward. It's not entered. Otherwise, you've entered it the wrong way. I gave it to you when there's a light that you can see the faces. Push it in completely. Mhm. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Welcome to this Friday live podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad that you have tuned in. Like usual, I'm going to ask for a few minutes to share the link with those that have been also waiting for the podcast so that we can together chat Friday night away. As my camera person is also still doing her thing. Go ahead, use this time, guys, and share the link with someone who you think that topic would be suiting, or someone who would love to chat Friday night or enjoys this kind of programming. I'm trying to share the link, then we can officially kick off. So this takes about 4 minutes. So go ahead, do the same, grab a bite, grab a drink, and together let us be on this podcast, chatting Friday night away. Looks like I've finished sharing. I'm hoping you've done the same and you're ready for us to go on. That just does it. I've shared. I've shared the link and I'm glad, guys, that you've tuned in. I would like to say hi to Jasper, who was the very first one, Audrey. Hello, you guys are the very top fans. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm glad that you have tuned in. Let me know if there's any issues with my sound. If there's no, we can straight away go on and start chatting. It's Friday. I'm hoping you've had a pleasant week and you are well. Jamie says hello. Hello, Jamie. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are my greatest fans. One of these days, I should hand you out something. Otherwise, like as usual, guys, good evening. Everyone, you're welcome back to Friday night chat with Winfred. I'm hoping that you had a pleasant week. If you happen to drop here for the very first time, it's not by accident. I know you will be blessed. Today, we are just going to be talking about something that is not the normal talk. Tonight's conversation is a little, personal, a little uncomfortable, and for some, very real. BCM Uganda, good to see you, my dear. You're welcome. Today's talk is about why do siblings become strangers? Guys, it's a live podcast. Feel free to give your opinion on this one because I really felt like I had to put it out there for someone who is probably wondering, why do siblings become strangers? Or how does it happen? What causes it? Today we are going to unpack, we are going to unfold all the details. And probably if you've been living in the dark, some light will be turned on and you'll get to see things from a different angle and a different light. And you stop questioning. And if at all you've been one who is beating yourself up about why did we become strangers with my siblings, well, probably you leave this place with no questions, with some light shaded, and you work towards getting it better, or hand in the towels and just agree that what, some of those things happen, and you hand it over to God. So let me ask you something. How do you grow up in the same house? Yeah, that's where we are going to start from. You grow up in the same house, you eat the same food, share the same remote, have the same parents, fight over, my spot, because that's where you normally sit. Yeah. And you don't even talk anymore. How does it move from you grew? I mean, these are the very first people you meet in life. They know, they took the biggest part of your life growing up. They have those memories that no one else shares. How did they come to become strangers? That is what we are going to unfold today. So don't even think about changing. If you are one who has had those kinds of questions, this will bless your heart. Trust me, at the end of the day, you'll be looking at things a different way and probably in a better lens. So tonight we are asking, why do siblings become strangers? That's what we are going to be asking ourselves. If you're watching this, please type, yeah, we are still close, or not so close, or you can just say, we are really close, or not close, or not so close. Any of those could do. I would know where you fall in that category. Otherwise, it's a live podcast. Let me know who is watching, where you're watching from, and what your take is on why do siblings become strangers. So let's be honest. Because for many families, the silence between siblings is louder than any argument. I mean, it's just so loud. It's louder than any argument, the silence between siblings. Let's just talk about it and see how and what brings this about. So my segment one is some houses, different experiences. You can have the same house, but have different experiences. This can be broken down in this way. You are the firstborn, yeah? One of the biggest lies we believe is we grew up in the same house. That is the very first thing you think about your siblings. We grew up in the same house, we had the same childhood, we had the same address, but you did not have the same experiences. Experiences differ depending on your age, yeah, or on your birth number. The firstborn, yeah, may have been the responsible one in this growing up kind of setting. If you're like, we grew up together, we grew up in the same house, we had the same experiences, we had the same childhood. The firstborn may have been the one that was responsible. The secondborn was may have been the invisible one who not so many people notice. And then the third born, or the third born may have been the one that was protected. And as you grew and the numbers increased, you find that experiences are different. Some get away with certain things, others don't. And that alone can change upon you. And you think, but we grew up in the same house. Well, I was the firstborn. I had to be responsible. I was the one blamed for everything that was not working, everything that was not going right. So experiences as we grow also change us a bit as we get older, and at times can create resentment. One sibling experiences pressure, another experiences freedom. That person who experiences freedom normally is the last born. The firstborn is the one who gets all the pressure. You have to clean up, you have to do this because you have to help raise the other ones as they come up, so they experience pressure. Their experience will be different from the one who was the last born, who grew up not responsible for anyone but themselves. And when you grow up, you're misunderstood, and so you grow apart silently. It is not this visible growing apart as siblings, but this apart that comes silently sneaking in its way. I made some notes, so when you see me looking down, I'm trying to make sure I don't skip anything. So I hope you can bear with that one. Sometimes siblings don't become strangers because of hate. We need to get that right as well. They become strangers because of unspoken pain. They have this pain that they grew up with, but they've never spoken about it. And so they become strangers as they get older. One felt overlooked, another one felt favored, and one felt, blamed for everything. Those differences can create resentment as siblings continue growing. Nobody ever talked about it while they were growing up because they were kids. So probably they even laughed about it. But now things are getting serious. Now, the other portion that I would talk about would be favoritism, the silent divider. If you are a parent and you practice favoritism, like this is my favorite child, I would go deeper on this one. Favoritism, nobody wants to admit it, but many families have a golden child. Many families, it's a wrong thing to have. I don't have favorites. All my kids are my favorite. I mean, depending on the moment. If you washed dishes, you are the one at that point in time. I mean, if you clean the house, when I didn't even tell you, you are the favorite. You get me my favorite drink, you're my favorite. Now, to me, in my house, favoritism the favorite can be swapped any minute and not every minute, because anytime anyone can do something good, and at that point in time, they are my favorite. But some families have that golden child, yeah? The one who can do no wrong. There are some families that are like that. That child, everything they do for them is right. Everything is good. Everything is correct. The one defended more. You're always defending that one child because they are your favorite. That's not good. And then there is the problem child, the one who is always compared to, like, why don't you be like this one? Why don't you do like this? Not everyone is the same. Now, I'm just introducing this guy so that we can be on the same footing. And then there is the problem child, the one who is always compared, the one corrected publicly, the one who feels less than. That's the one who grows up and that resentment grows. I know of this family where there was this child who was always supposed to take care of the younger ones. And one time he spilled milk that he was supposed to be for the baby. And the mom lashed out. Oh, no, actually, he didn't spill. He drank the baby's milk. And she was like, why would you drink it? It's for the baby. And these other kids who are younger, why would you? All those things when you grow up, because they are growing up at different paces. One is the firstborn, the other is the second. In between there is a gap. So this one who is the first one is likely to grow and get out of the house quite early and probably start on their journey on life and become successful. If they do, and these ones are trying to get up, this other person that you have been treating like this, blaming for the shortcomings or the short thing or the small things, that is in the pipeline waiting to burst out. So if you're practicing that, you need to check it. Yeah, the one who is publicly corrected, like they make a mistake and you embarrass them in front of everyone. You did this, you did this. Why don't you be like this one or these ones who don't do this? The one who is publicly corrected, or the one who feels less than. When they are doing things, they are the ones who don't measure up. They are the ones who don't perform so well. And so you're always on their case. Why don't you perform well like your siblings? Why isn't you don't bring at home, 90s like the rest of the kids are doing, that other child? You're building resentment slowly by slowly. You may laugh about it when you're young, but when you grow up, resentment grows, guys. It grows too. Don't think it stays in the same place, because what you experienced as a sibling rivalry was actually a wound. Yeah, it was a wound that just doesn't cure. It just gets worse and worse and worse, especially if there are not changes that are made to correct it. And if it's never addressed, that wound can turn into distance, guys. It really can turn into this big distance or gap between siblings, and they just can't wait to leave the home and be on their own and do their own thing. So as parents, we need to work hard to bridge that gap and make sure that we don't have a favorite. We don't have this particular one that is always blamed, that is always, because I'm going to be telling you later on my story. Guys, siblings becoming strangers, it even doesn't please God. This channel is a Bible-based channel. It doesn't please God when siblings start acting as strangers. It does not please God, because He says how good it is for brothers to sit and work in unity. It's like, that good oil that flows on Aaron's beard. I have not used the right exact words, but that's something like that is what it says. How beautiful it is. Yeah, so it pleases God when siblings are one. Guys, I'll give an example. You see my fingers. These fingers are different. One is short but big. This one is medium but a bit short. This is really short and small. This one is medium and short. This one is really long and a bit thick. But they need each other. They really do need each other. So this one says the pinky that I'm big enough. I don't need you guys. And it pulls away. These four would try to hold, but they can't keep anything up really that easy. If the thumb said, I don't need you guys, these four can sit together, but there's something missing. We need each other to be able to hold and survive this world. So if you happen to be born with siblings, guys, it's a shame when we allow that devil to come between us and be like, you don't need her, she doesn't need you, you don't need this one doesn't need those. It's a shame even before God. We need each other to be able to function right. Like I said, if it's never addressed, that wound turns into distance, and not loud distance. It may be quiet distance, but it creates distance, yeah? The kind where you attend family gatherings, but don't really talk. You can be on the same event. I mean, I've got siblings, guys. I've got siblings. And some of them we meet on occasion, on functions, and all we can do is say hello, and that's for the public to see. But it's a shame when things get to that. And you got to realize as well that some of these things that happen between siblings, it's because of the things that we are going to break down much later. But it doesn't please God or make the wrongs right. It doesn't make that wrong right. I'll talk about the things that causes siblings to be strangers. The money changes everything. It changes everything. And I've noted these things because I didn't want to miss a thing. Money changes things. Let's talk about adulthood. Because adulthood tension is one thing, but adulthood, money enters the room. Oh my goodness. The moment money enters in the picture, everything changes. One sibling becomes successful. I'm just painting a picture here. One struggles financially. One becomes the family helper, and then the other one becomes the family critic. These are different siblings. Remember, there is the firstborn who is likely to succeed early because they are older, and then there is one who, can struggle financially because they are probably still young, or wasn't as much invested in the things that make you rich as the other ones. One becomes the helper and the other one becomes the critic. Now, ego becomes everything. Pride gets involved. I'm breaking it down for us, guys. Maybe the siblings feel judged. Those that don't have start feeling like, the one who has is judging them, when actually that's not the case. The moment money comes in the picture, there is that pride that comes in. There is, maybe another feels used. If you have money and others don't seem to have as much as you do, you feel used because on events, that's when they remember you, call you up, look you up when they have problems. But actually, when everything is good for them, no one thinks of you. So you can feel used. Maybe one feels like, I worked hard for this. Why do you resent me? Because, I give an example. One sibling is successful, and they feel like they worked hard to get what they have. But then the other ones resent that person because he's trying to make good of his life. Guys, it's a live podcast. Feel free to put in your opinions on this one. Otherwise, I'm breaking it down until someone says something. If you've ever experienced something like this, drop in the comments and share whether you've seen it as well. But money plays a very big part in siblings becoming strangers. And you think you're better than, one sibling can come up with the idea that makes the other feel, the one who is successful probably, that you think you're better than us, when actually the other one did not say, I'm better than you. But because, there is that, like I said, the family critic one who criticizes every little thing that you do, whether it's with good intentions, whether it's with, bad intentions, they just criticize. I don't know. But today I just felt like talking about siblings becoming strangers. Money doesn't just reveal character. Money also reveals insecurities. Yeah? And instead of communicating, siblings withdraw. When I say money money exposes insecurities. If someone has money and the other doesn't have, they feel insecure around the one who has. They feel like they don't measure up when actually nothing happened. It should be that in a family where someone has and others don't have, they celebrate the one who has and try to work it out together so that they can together come up with a way of helping the one who doesn't have also come up and be to the same level. I've been to some places where there are functions and there's only one member in the family who has, seemingly some cash. And every event you have to write them fast. You see, your uncle died. You see, your father's cousin is also sick. All those weights are loaded on one person simply because it's just that one person that has. And yet as siblings, if we work together, we would all rise up to be something together. But if all we do is tear each other up, one of your siblings is trying to come up and do well for themselves, then you're trying to pull them down. so that all of you can be at the bottom. That is a shame, guys. I just felt like I had to bring this out today. I mean, if someone has experienced it before, go ahead, drop in the comments. Let me know that it's not just my world that is crowded with all these things, but it's something that I've seen and I thought I would talk about it. Instead of communicating, siblings withdraw. It's so easy to lay down your pride and be like, you know what? You're trying to make good of yourself, but also help us make good of ourselves, or if there is any help that you need, don't hesitate to ask from the one who has. Otherwise, you just sit at home and sulk and you say they just enjoy it by themselves, they don't care about us. Then you start cursing, saying all these lies about these people just because they have and you don't. It is all about communication. And then if you don't communicate, then siblings start to withdraw because pride would rather be distant than vulnerable. Some people just have that. I would, cut myself off you than, telling you I'm struggling financially. Please help me. Instead, you hold back, and you just become distant than be vulnerable and let your siblings know that you are struggling in this area. If you could, and you could use some help. Like I said, these fingers are not equal. This is short, but it needs these other ones. This is big, but it needs these other ones. This is long, but it still needs the rest of the fingers in order to be able to do so many things like hold, rub, wash, touch. They need each other. So we need each other as siblings, especially if you're lucky enough to be born in a family with more than one sibling. Another thing that causes siblings to be strangers, marriage and loyalty shifts. Marriage and loyalty shifts. Now let's add marriage into the equation, because guys, if we don't bring in marriage, we won't know where most of these things come from. You get married, priorities shift. Before it was about you and your siblings. And then when you get married, priorities shift because your spouse becomes your primary family. And sometimes siblings struggle with that. They feel replaced, and so they can become this army that is out to get you down, so you get out of your relationship so that you can go back home and be with them. I don't know, but it's the devil that is trying to fight. All this should be working to our good because the family is expanding. New people are coming in. But like I said, you get married and your spouse becomes your primary family, and sometimes siblings struggle with that whole change. So they feel replaced or disconnected. That shouldn't be the case, but that's what they feel. Or influenced by one person, especially if you get married to the wrong person. I know of people who, once they marry that girl, they try and make sure the girl is disconnected from the family members so that either he can mold her into what he wants her to be, or she pulls the man away from her family, his family, so that he's disconnected and controls him, minus the sisters or family coming in and giving advice. So there is that thing as well, marriage, where for no reason you didn't have to actually part as siblings or be strangers as siblings, but because of marriage. Yeah, the kind of people that we get married to. So we need to watch out. Who are you getting married to? Because the person that you're getting married to will play a part in your relationship with your siblings and with the rest of the people that you had, with a friend. So when you're looking to find someone, guys, you need to put that is also into consideration. I know of some men who feel good when the wife they married has no connection with their relatives, because that way he doesn't have to, worry about Christmas is coming, Easter is coming, my sister needs some help with fees, or my brother needs some help with his house rent. So there's some husbands who take pride in that. And also there are husbands who enjoy pulling the sister or the wife, the wife from the siblings just so he can control her, manipulate her, and turn her into something he would want that is feeling less than. Marriage takes a toll, or relationships take tolls on people. When you're in a relationship, there are some struggles, and at times it just helps to talk to someone. But if you get married or in a relationship with someone who pulls you away from your relatives, even when you need a shoulder to lean on, there is no, and so the world stresses you. You get depressed with no one to count on. I hope whoever is doing this is listening and hoping to change so that siblings don't turn out as strangers. Sometimes it's not even the spouse that is causing the problem. It's the adjustment. The adjustment from being single with your siblings to being married with your husband. And some people don't know how to blend the two. I've gotten married, my husband takes up this space, or my wife and my siblings still take up this one. Or my husband takes up this space and my siblings still take up this space. Sometimes it's not the man or the spouse causing the problem, it's the adjustment. Because siblings who once shared everything, you need to look at it that way. There are siblings who once shared everything, now need appointments to talk. That cannot be taken easily by some. It can stir up different feelings or emotions in the other one who has to make the appointments. And if boundaries aren't respected, kawedemu, like we say in Uganda, if loyalty feels questioned, you don't know where you stand anymore with your sibling. You're thinking, are my secrets still safe? Can I just come in and tell her, or can he just come in and, if you find siblings that were tight, brother and sister, and then things change up, and all of a sudden this one is married, you don't know whether a loyalty is still there. It's questioned. That distance begins. Not always because of betrayal, but because of transition. Sometimes it's because of the changes that they are going through, from being single to being married, from a sister, just a sister, to being a sister and wife to someone, or from being a brother to your sister to becoming someone's husband. So sometimes that adjustment can cause siblings to become strangers. And the next segment, which is segment 5, is unhealed childhood competition. Yeah, let's be honest, guys. Some siblings are raised in competition. Who got better grades? That the moment that is cultivated in a family, guys, it doesn't stop only on the academics. It also goes further. Who got the best grades? Who behaved better? Who made parents proud? Who disappointed them? Who loved? When love feels conditional, siblings unconsciously compete for approval, and parents need to be on the lookout for that one. Because when love feels conditional, siblings unconsciously compete for approval. It starts off innocent, where you're like rewarding the one who got the best grades. You're rewarding the one who behaved better. You are proud of a particular one when they succeed at something. So that competition unconsciously grows. Competition kills connection. We need to know that, because then siblings are always competing as opposed to connecting to try and get and solve something. So if you're a parent and this is something that is going on in your home, you need to check it, that it doesn't cross over to the other side, because unconsciously we are cultivating that environment where our children are competing with each other, and it carries on. Even in life, you buy a car, your sibling wants to buy a bigger one. You buy a house, they want to get a better one. And also there are some things that we are going to talk about that much later will make sense to all this. You can't feel safer with someone you are always trying to outperform. You can never. I mean, if you invite me to your house, and the reason why you invited me to your house is just so I can see the latest kettle that you bought. I mean, now we are competing in terms of kettles because I came to your house. You had a big kettle, but I bought bigger. So I invite you so you can see my kettle. See how we are competing instead of connecting. We would connect over things, but now we cannot compete. I mean, you cannot connect with someone that you are outperforming. So when adulthood comes, some siblings don't reconcile, guys. You need to think about it. They just separate because adulthood will come. And because peace feels safer than rivalry, some siblings would choose to go for peace than rivalry. Another segment that I wanted to talk about is pride and poor communication. Oh my goodness, pride and poor communication. Here is the real killer, guys. Nobody wants to be the first to apologize. There are siblings who have gotten into fights, but no one wants to be the first to apologize. I mean, I've got siblings as well. And I don't know why this happens to the ones who are older. The moment you're older, you feel like even when you're wrong, they should be the ones to apologize. Some people just find it hard to apologize. This is something I want to teach in my house all the time. That from where we get sorry and thank you and please, those are just words. You can never outrun them. That they are now finished from the bank. You have to pay for more to get a restock. No. Those words are always there. So the whole not saying sorry, not saying please, not saying thank you is pride that is really leading to a downfall. Because in a relationship, if no one is willing to budge, the relationship can't get anywhere. And we need to get to that point where we realize that and fix it. Nobody wants to look weak. So everyone says, well, she wronged me, I will not apologize. And I'm like, I will not apologize as well. And we find ourselves with gaps that cannot be bridged. So misunderstandings sit instead of, being dissolved and getting done with. Assumptions grow because pride took the place of apologies. Assumptions grow, stories get created in our heads. You start, making up things about your siblings that are not even true because you don't want to apologize. So you start believing in a lie. They did this. They may not have said the exact words, or they may not have done the same thing, the exact thing, but they really did this. Over time, assumptions grow and stories are created in our heads. I've seen people who make up stories that are not real against each other simply because one is not willing to apologize when they wrong. So they want to always be the ones in the right and they make up stories about others. And instead of saying that hurt me, we say nothing. Guess what? 1 year is dragged away and that is a year missed. Because guys, we need also to realize that in this life is short. It is really short. If you're going to live up to 90 years and you spend like 10 of them not talking to your sibling, that is time robbed from you because of the 90, you're left with 80. And in between there, if they still don't apologize, you are people who will meet up on burials. What is that? It doesn't please God. It doesn't sound right and it's wrong. And one thing that we also need to realize is that silence builds walls. Years pass, birthdays are missed. We need to look at it that way as well. Calls are unanswered because we are not talking. Because of something that happened and you don't want to apologize. Remember, we're talking about pride and communication. Because of pride, you don't apologize when you did something wrong. You miss that birthday. You miss that party. Calls are unanswered. and suddenly you are strangers with shared memories. It is strange when you're strangers with shared memories because you grew up together. There are things that the rest of the world doesn't know about you, but this sibling does know. Those are memories that no one else can rob from you. And this brings us to segment 7. Can sibling relationship be restored? Now, here is the hopeful part for all these guys. But if someone chooses humility over ego, you have to be able to humble yourself and put away the ego bit in order for sibling relationships to be restored. Only if someone says, I value this relationship more than being right, can you get to see that. Otherwise, it becomes something that was sealed and done with when siblings are not willing to put down their humility, to choose humility over ego. Sorry. Only if someone says, I value this relationship more than being right, or healing doesn't start with, you hurt me. It starts with, I miss you. I miss us. That is where healing starts from. The moment someone is willing to break, I know of someone who said, I will never forgive that one, except they apologize and acknowledge they did wrong or they are in the wrong. That is when I would forgive them. Otherwise, I'll take this to my grave. I don't want them to bury me. I don't want them to come to my burial. You're dead. You're dead. For crying out loud, it doesn't matter who comes or who doesn't. But why are we allowing the devil to take that place in our lives as siblings? People who grew up in the same house, fought over the remote, ate the same food, had the same childhood, shared the same house, called the same people parents. Sometimes siblings are waiting for one person to reach out. Some of them are just waiting. If they reach out, then I would forgive. If they come, then I would start. If they don't, then this and this will happen. Waiting for someone to break the silence, or waiting for safety. And maybe tonight that one is you who is going to break the silence, who is listening in. I mean, if you have been one of those people that have just shedded light on what causes people to do or go through that, I will give an example. Siblings who don't want to work together, to succeed. You just want to be the one who has made it. There is that assumption that because you're the oldest, you need to have the best of everything that life has to offer. That is wrong. And God plays these cards, guys. If you are a child of God, if all of us are children of God, and we all love the Lord, every one of us has their blessing laid out for them. An example is Jacob and Esau. Jacob stole his brother's blessing, but Esau is never mentioned as a poor man. He also had enough to break the yoke of his brother off his neck. He had enough. That goes to show you that when Jacob came, he was afraid for his life because of what he had done, and only to his surprise that his brother had enough and didn't need any of his. That means Esau still had a blessing laid out for him by God. So if we are siblings and we celebrate each other's happiness, achievements, that is a good thing. Otherwise, I don't understand it. If my sister gets to know I bought a car and that icks that my sister, or my brother gets to know, or I get to hear that my brother bought land or built and that icks me, that is wrong, and it's from the devil. Because I should be happy that my brother is not going to be homeless, or my sister is not going to be, trekking to work or school or going through life suffering. But I don't know why there is that entitlement to siblings that are older to think that they are the ones who should make it in life better than the ones who are younger. It is a lie. And I hope, guys, you've not been the ones practicing this. If you have, there is still time to revise and celebrate others. Because if we don't celebrate others' success and we are all one, remember my hand, it is all sprouting from one in this, even when it comes up here and separates into 5, but it's 1 here. That goes to show you that I need her, she needs me, he needs her, we need each other. We all need each other because we are all family. When one succeeds, we've all succeeded. But if all we do is block each other, it's a shame. So, closing reflection, guys. Let me leave you with this. You didn't choose your siblings, guys. You did not wake up and be like, I will pick her to become my sister, and I'll pick him to become my brother. God ordained who is in your life and who is not. So, you didn't choose your sibling, but you shared a beginning, guys. You shared a beginning in a house that was messy, where your parents came home and beat all of you up, you know. You shared a childhood, you shared history no one else understands. I see my kids sometimes cracking up over things, and they keep on saying, Mommy, we remember how you used to chase us around the dining, trying to beat us with a table mat. And I don't have memory of that, but they do. And anyway, I'm pretending. I remember that. I used to beat them when they don't eat their food. I would really come after them, and they would gang up and just run around the table until I get their father and be like, let's go. You get this side, I get this side. We catch them, and then we beat whoever has not eaten. So they have a shared childhood, yeah, a shared beginning. So siblings should not be really strangers because they share a beginning. You shared a childhood. You shared history no one else understands. There are times my kids sing songs. My firstborn and secondborn used to like this song of Sophia the First, and they would sing. No, not Sophia the First. They used to like Barbie song called When I Was Young. I played for fun. Nobody cares. And they would sing, stand on the table and just sing. And one of them actually at some point thought she would become a pop star. I don't know whether we have them in Uganda yet, but that was her dream. And we would buy her those karaoke mics, and she would pretend on top of that table, that's my firstborn, that she's going to be a pop star. And as time went on, she's not thinking of pop star anymore. I think she's in other things now, if they're between confused on what to do, or she's probably made up her mind on something. So siblings share, guys, a lot. A history no one else understands. This is just between them. They even had names for particular things. There are some things they just look at and just, without even speaking, they've spoken words. Yeah. Life is already hard for siblings to become strangers. Life is hard. My grandmother, late now, she died at 103, guys. But every time I would go, she would pray that I get another kid. Especially if I have a girl. When I had my firstborn, she said, I'm praying now that God will give you another one because that she needs a sister so that she can be able to talk to her. Life is hard. That's what I'm trying to drive at, guys. You need each other to be able to cope. The unconditional friend, one that will always stick around, whether you like it or not, that God picked for you, is your sibling. You will share life. You will do life even when your parents are gone. You will do life, graduations, anniversaries, whether you like it, as long as your parents are still in the picture and they are having an anniversary, you will come up and you meet each other. So you have no choice but to be friends. I tell my kids, sisters are friends forever. I would tell them that song, that your sister and friends forever. Leave alone these friends we find along the way. But sisters, siblings should be friends and friends forever. The devil has deceived us different, that we don't need each other, but that's the honest truth. So life is already hard. Don't let pride steal people who once mattered in your life. If they were abusive or unsafe, boundaries are healthy. So you can put boundaries, but don't cut yourself off your siblings. But if it's ego, that pride, I can't apologize, that's a wrong one. That's just misunderstandings, just distance born from silence. Maybe it's time. Maybe you can send a message to your siblings that you've taken so long without talking to. You can send a message, and maybe you can give them a call, even not because you are wrong, but because connection is worth more than being right. That is what I can leave with you before I close. If this touched you tonight, type in the comments, family matters. If it did really touch you, type in family matters. And if you have a sibling you have not spoken to in a while, go ahead. Put pride on the side and call them. Text them. Maybe after this, you reach out, after the live, you can reach out. This Friday night live is just about closed, and I hope we choose healing from tonight's podcast. I felt like talking about siblings becoming strangers. I hope you have been blessed. And if this resonates to you, share it with someone who you think it will be a blessing to. Otherwise, until next time, bye guys, and take care.